Welcome to Textor Maschinenbau in Wolfenschwenden. My name is Thomas, and together with Matthias, we would like to present to you today a production line solution from Textor Viba, which consists of a Textor slicer TS700 and an automatic insertion system, as well as the wePACK 7000. If you have been here before or visit us on the homepage, you have surely noticed the slogan "Smart and Easy." But what does that mean for us? For us, that means open construction and clever ideas. We want to set new standards with the simplicity of our machine. True to the motto, perfection is achieved when there is nothing left to take away. The TS700, with its production line components, is the best-selling slicer in the medium and upper slicing segment, with 500 installations worldwide in just 7 years. Large corporations in particular have deliberately opted for our machines, as we have been able to offer them the best possible future planning thanks to the small footprint. We have set new standards in the established markets with the open hygienic design. Matthias will now demonstrate this to us on the machine.
Hygiene is a complex issue that we have dealt with intensively during the development of the TS700. We have developed design features that set new standards, and I would now like to show you these standards. First, it begins with the prevention of cavities. Cavities are microbiologically difficult surfaces to check, which is why we decided to eliminate them completely during the development of the TS700. Some examples on the machine itself are the cross connections. These are made of solid stainless steel, as are the door profiles. Another important point on the subject of hygiene is the way the cables are laid. The cables don't just run through covers or feed-throughs, but are open and spaced apart, and can be seen nicely here in the rear area. This means that hygienic and intensive cleaning is possible at any time. Another point I would like to talk about is the fasteners. All components are mounted at a distance from each other, which ensures that intermediate cleaning can be carried out at any time. Another absolute highlight of the TS700 is the patented open cutting head. This is hidden behind the blade guard, which I am now opening. As you can see, this swings upwards into the available free space. This means I have optimal and quick access to the cutting area. The open cutting head is freely positioned and has a sophisticated sealing system, allowing it to be completely cleaned every day. As you can see, the knife is not currently mounted. The counterweight is already integrated in the mounting plate and therefore does not need to be additionally attached to the invalid blade.
But this design has many other benefits, such as for the maintenance of the machine.
This open design, accessible at all times, allows cleaning and maintenance work to be carried out even here, on the side facing away from the operator. This means that the machine is always kept in perfect hygienic and technical condition throughout its entire service life.
While Matthias is preparing the machine for slicing, I will go through the individual components and their functions with you once again. We'll start here at the front. Here you can see the footprint of the machine quite clearly. We have about 1 meter here with a cutting shaft of 450 mm by 200 mm. If we were to add a larger rotor, we could even cut 500 mm wide. As seen here, the control cabinet is mounted below the single-cycle module. This is the beginning of the cutting process. Here, the production line operator places the products to be cut and confirms completeness by pressing this button. Another alternative would be to install a buffer control here in the front area, for example. When the slicer requests the products, they are automatically pulled in. Here we have another new development that will benefit every customer. Namely, that the feed belt can be moved sideways. This means that the complete load is aligned to the blade exit side in a single step. Previously, we talked about clever ideas, so we must mention the hold-down system. Here, the hold-down system is in the position for gripping the products. You can see here that we have independent hold-down flotation. This means that we can compensate for differences in the length of the products. But what else is so special about this system? It opens to the front in the direction of product flow. Therefore, we no longer have to pull back the products, which is especially important for soft products. The fact that we save ourselves a step of pulling back is positively reflected in the reloading time. Of course, there is also the basic function of holding down the products and are under traction during the cutting process. We have here a product support cassette that is 300 mm long and protrudes very far to the blade. Here is the portioning system, consisting of a portioning belt and a control belt, both of which are in a cassette design. What is the benefit of the extensive use of cassettes? For one thing, we can quickly make application changes, from presentation to shaved or stack, high stack, and so on. On the other hand, they can be removed from the machine for maintenance and cleaning and no longer interfere with any other cutting process. Really easy, no tools required. From our control belt, we then transfer the portions to our scales. This is in constant contact with our slicer. This means that we receive constant feedback as to whether the thickness of the cutting disc needs to be adjusted. From the scale, it then goes into the loader. The first component in the loader is the rocker. This is used to ensure that improperly weighted portions are sorted out. But what actually dictates the distance between the portions? This is the packaging machine. We visualize that here with our very long spreader belt. Next comes the grouping belt, which takes care of positioning the rows of portions in relation to each other. From there, the portions are transferred to our buffer conveyors. Here we have 3 pieces. What are buffer conveyors needed for in the first place? The objective is clear. The packaging machine should run continuously. Therefore, we run at a higher instant rate, and when it is time to reload, we have enough servings there to completely cover it. Here you can immediately see in application 1 that an integrated overlapper is built in. The complete format is now waiting on our insertion belt until we can insert it. We wait until the packaging machine signals the pull forward, and then we are finally able to insert it. With regard to the packaging machine, our portion position detection system is particularly worth mentioning. Matthias will present these again in detail.
By means of portion position detection, it is possible to monitor the individual portions in the pack. The camera detects the position. If mispositioning has taken place, we have the possibility to inform downstream units accordingly. For example, a labeler may receive information not to place labels in this area. Another conceivable option would be to include the inserter in this system. If the portion is not centered in the packaging, we have the option of using cross adjustments to optimally place the portion in the packaging. Furthermore, it would be technically possible to include the slicer in this system in order to completely fill the packs. If the portion is not long enough, this information can be passed to the slicer, which automatically adjusts the pack length. This completely fills the pack and means an ideal presentation to the end customer is achieved.
Now, our portions are perfect on the film, but what's next? The next step is sealing. This means that the top film comes on top of the bottom film. This is followed by the cut as the next step, and then we are already at the outlet, our final stop. After the outlet, you could then have, for example, metal detectors, separation systems, or labelers, depending on your specific needs. Previously, we talked about the flexibility of the TS700. We can collaborate with you to respond to new customer requirements even after an installation. Whether you need a wider cutting head or your customer requires a new portioning pattern, a CCU change to a portion carrier is possible at any time. You may also be cutting natural products at some point. The integration of a scanner and Vario feeder is also definitely possible. Matthias will now give us a brief introduction to the first application, and then we will start cutting.
We have prepared 4 product bars of a trapezoidal salami that our TS700 will turn into a presentation portion. As it progresses, the inserter with its integrated overlapper will overlap and automatically insert them into our wePACK 7000. To do this, I just have to press the confirmation button and the loading starts.
The complete load is now drawn in by the infeed belt. You will see the alignment function in a moment. We move to the right. Products are placed on the right, and now you see the hold downs performing length compensation and opening to the front. The hold downs press on the product. And at the front of the cutting chute, you can see why we press on the products. All products are right aligned because that is also where the knife exit side is. The scale is in constant contact with the slicer and would eventually readjust the slice thickness. Previously, we mentioned that the line spacing is dictated to us by the packaging machine, which is why we spread here. The grouping from row to row and on the buffer conveyors is then already a half format. The first half format is positioned under the overlapper and waits there. The second layer is dynamically placed on top. On the third buffer, we now see the complete format for the first time. The insertion belt cycles in a complete format at a time, matching the pull forward of the packaging machine. Here you can see the complete portion rows lying in the packaging for the first time. It's also nice to see the slight offset of the overlap, which makes the packaging appear larger. With the top web, you can see how it is unrolled and sealed to the bottom web. Here, you can hear how the cutting works. At the last station at the end, the finished packages emerge. Matthias will now not only perform a product change, but also change the complete application. He is about to explain to us what this will require.
Next, we are going to prepare the line for a new product. We are going to cut a boiled sausage, which is also folded. To do this, we must rebuild the entire cutting area. For this rebuild, I will immediately change the cutting edge. The cutting edge itself has a quick change system and can be removed without tools. Additionally, the cutting edge has engraved numerical values that reflect the position of the product carrying parts. This scaling is uniform throughout the machine, and this means that it can be rebuilt quickly with maximum process and repeatability. To change the cutting edge, I am opening the blade safety hood and mounting the blade guard.
Und montiere den Messerschutz.
The cutting edge is locked by 2 locking bolts,
Zwei Sicherungsbolzen hier verriegelt.
which I can now open. This can be removed by hand.
Entnehmen.
Now, I will mount the new cutting edge and lock it in place using the fixing bolts.
Fixierungsbolzen.
The next step is the installation of the folding bar. This can also be installed without any tools.
Somit ist die Anlage bereit.
This means the line is ready for the next product, which we are going to present to you.
Vorstellen werden.
Thank you, Matthias. You have set up a very interesting application for us. Please confirm full loading to begin our cutting process. The products are also pulled in as before. Please now note the hold-down system. In particular, the step when we open to the front and we don't have to pull the product, a very soft product, away to the back in order to relax a locking slide. Here we can now see the actively driven folding bar. Why an actively driven folding bar? It is very important that we display reproducible results, which is done by constantly rotating at a consistent speed. With this very sensitive portion, care must be taken to ensure that all belt transitions and transfer speeds are perfectly coordinated. The process flows are identical to the first application. We spread them apart as specified by the packaging machine. Group the rows together and buffer them to bridge the reloading time of the slicer. In this case, we disabled the overlapper and swung it to an upper position so it wouldn't interfere with the portion. Complete formats wait at the insertion belt until the packaging machine signals the pull forward and we can gently insert. Let's look at the packaging again at the end to show you how it is finally displayed in the supermarket. Here you can see the patterns with the folded portion. That was it for our demonstration from Wolfratschwenden. I hope you enjoyed it. Matthias and I are still available for further questions. If you do not have an interlever machine, there is the option for the control cabinet to be located under the machine, or we position it remotely. This means that the control cabinet is located outside the machine, about 1.5 to 2 meters on the side facing away from the operator or on the operator's side. In this case, we would assess with you whether or not a scanner is necessary. We have the option of placing an LED scanner or an X-ray scanner upstream of the Textor slicer. Furthermore, the feeding in the slicer would have to be changed from single to 2-line. The product support cassette would also have to be Vario. Furthermore, a 2-line scale would be beneficial, and if we stay with the 4.3 format, a production line distributor would go in there.
At the moment, you have seen the variant for 1.2 meter long products. We also have variants available for 1.6 meter and 1.85 meter products. In principle, all conceivable portion shapes are possible via presentation, stack, or staggered stack. The optimal portion designer allows you to freely define the position of the individual slices via the display, meaning that all portion shapes can be created.
Starting with project planning, you have one contact person. The background team will work out the complete production line solution for you.
You also have one team at your disposal during commissioning, which brings in the system, sets it up, and synchronizes the individual components with each other. Another important benefit is the spare parts inventory. Here, we use many common parts that can be found in many components. Absolutely. We are also able to cut vegan products with our knives, which are developed in our knife factory. We have our system in use at a large number of our customers who precisely cut these products.